That is a 200,000-ton iceberg. It is currently drifting directly toward a $3 billion oil platform. And somebody just handed you a rope, not a metaphorical rope, an actual rope. You are going to lasso an iceberg the size of a skyscraper in the middle of the night, in freezing seas, and pull it somewhere else. And here's the part that should genuinely bother you. Almost nobody on Earth knows this job exists. Not your friends, not your career counselor, probably not even your search engine until about 30 seconds ago. Today, that person is you. Welcome to the strangest job in the offshore energy industry. Here's the problem nobody warns oil companies about when they build a platform in the North Atlantic. Greenland sheds roughly 10,000 to 15,000 icebergs into the ocean every single year. Many of them drift directly into an area called Iceberg Alley, which happens to overlap almost exactly with some of the most valuable offshore oil and gas fields on the planet. A modern offshore platform is fixed in place. It cannot move. An iceberg the size of a city block, drifting at even half a mile per hour, will eventually arrive exactly where that platform is sitting. And a multi-billion-dollar piece of infrastructure does not win that collision. So the oil industry created a solution that sounds like it was invented as a joke and turns out to be completely real. A dedicated fleet of specialized ships and crews whose entire job is finding icebergs before they become a problem and physically redirecting them. You work for what's officially called an ice management team operating out of street. Your vessel is purpose-built reinforced hull, ice-class engines, radar systems specifically calibrated to detect ice formations from miles away, and a winch system capable of handling cable loads most ships would never need. Your job, in the simplest possible terms, find the iceberg before it's a crisis. Lasso it. Drag it somewhere it can't hurt anyone. Repeat for the entire iceberg season. It's 1:40 a.m. You've been on watch for 6 hours. The radar has been quiet, just open ocean and the occasional whale that makes your sonar operator briefly panic. Then, a blip appears 14 nautical miles out. Large stationary relative to current drift patterns, which means it's exactly what you're looking for. Here's a fact that should change how you think about icebergs forever. What you see above the water is roughly 10% of the total mass. The other 90%, the part that will actually crush a platform's support structure, is invisible beneath the surface. Your team's first job isn't moving it, it's measuring it. Standing next to one of these things for the first time does something to people. Veteran ice management crews describe the same reaction every time. It doesn't look real. It looks like a special effect, a wall of ice that fell out of the sky and is now just sitting there, in the ocean, being enormous. Your sonar operator gets the readings. Confirmed mass, confirmed drift speed, confirmed trajectory. The math is clear. Left alone, this iceberg reaches the platform in approximately 11 hours. You radio back to the platform operations center. Iceberg confirmed. Initiating tow procedure. There's a pause on the radio. Then, copy. Good luck out there. Let's actually answer the question you've been asking since this video started. How do you tow an iceberg? There are 3 methods, and the choice depends entirely on the iceberg's size and shape. Method 1. The lasso. For medium-sized icebergs with a stable shape, this requires getting your vessel within feet of the ice, in open ocean, often at night, while everything is moving. Method 2. The net. For icebergs with unstable or irregular shapes, the ones that could roll or shift unexpectedly, a specialized net is used instead of a single rope. Distributes the towing force across more contact points. Lower risk of the rope slipping off. Method 3, and this is the one that sounds completely made up. Water cannon deflection. You're not moving the iceberg so much as gently arguing with it. Tonight's iceberg is stable and roughly uniform in shape. Lasso method. Your crew maneuvers the vessel to within 30 feet of the ice face close, enough that the ship's spotlights illuminate individual cracks and blue veins running through the surface. You're on the bow with 2 other crew members, manually guiding the cable into position using a secondary smaller line, first a literal rope, thrown by hand, looped around an ice formation, then used to pull the main towing cable into place. It takes 4 attempts. The first 2 throws miss. The third catches but slips loose when the iceberg shifts slightly in the swell. The fourth holds. Your team cheers quietly, professionally, the way people cheer when they're still extremely cold and the job is nowhere near finished. The winch engages. The ship's engine's built specifically for this kind of load strain, against 200,000 tons of solid ice. For the first 90 seconds, nothing visibly happens. You're applying enormous force to an object so massive that the result is barely perceptible. Then your radar operator confirms it. The drift trajectory has changed by half a degree. Half a degree sounds insignificant. The tow itself takes 4 hours. This is where the job gets genuinely strange to think about. You're not fighting the iceberg the way you'd fight a storm or a fire. You're negotiating with physics over a period of hours, making tiny constant adjustments, watching numbers shift by fractions of a degree, knowing that the entire operation could be undone by one unexpected current shift or one cable failure. At hour 2, the cable tension spikes unexpectedly. An alarm sounds on the bridge. If the cable snaps under this kind of tension, it doesn't just go slack. It can whip back across the deck with enough force to seriously injure or kill anyone in its path. Your captain makes the call to ease tension slightly, slowing the tow speed to reduce strain. The alarm clears, the tow continues. Not a huge margin in the open ocean, an enormous one when the alternative was a direct hit. You don't destroy the iceberg, you don't really defeat it. You just have a very long, very cold conversation with several 100,000 tons of frozen water about which direction would be better for everyone, and it eventually agrees. Entry-level ice observers and deckhands on ice management vessels start around $50,000 to $70,000 per season. Experienced ice pilots and tow operations specialists, the people, actually directing and executing the lasso and tow procedures, earn between $90,000 and $150,000 per season. Senior ice management consultants, the people who run the entire monitoring and decision-making operation for a major offshore platform, can earn $150,000 to $250,000 per season, with some specialized roles on long-term platform contracts exceeding that. The oil companies pay this well for one extremely simple reason: a single iceberg collision with an offshore platform. Your entire team's annual cost is a rounding error compared to what a single bad night without you would cost. The cold is the part that never gets talked about enough. Cold injury and hypothermia risk is a constant background concern, not a dramatic exception. The schedule is brutal in its own specific way: extended rotations offshore, unpredictable hours dictated entirely by where icebergs happen to be drifting, and a work rhythm that can shift from quiet monitoring to 4 hours of high-stakes tension with almost no warning. There's also a strange psychological aspect specific to this job that crews mention again and again. You spend your entire career fighting something that cannot be defeated, only redirected. You don't win against an iceberg, you just convince it to be somewhere else for a while. The people who thrive in this career describe a specific kind of satisfaction in that, not the satisfaction of conquering something. By 6 a.m., the platform's operations center sends a short message: confirmed clear. That's the entire recognition for an operation that took 4 hours, 4 rope throws, 1 cable tension alarm, and a multi-billion-dollar piece of infrastructure successfully avoiding a slow-motion catastrophe. 3 more blips just appeared at the edge of your radar range, still days away. Still someone else's problem for now, but not for long. Like, subscribe. What dangerous job should we cover next? Drop it below.